Hi, I'm Moonchildlexi, and I am here with you to be a guide on your own spiritual awakening path. And today is day 23 of a collective journey of transformation through the usage of short stories. The medium that I'm pulling the short stories from is Osho's Transformation Tarot. The card that I pulled for today is a number 53, Play. I'm going to continue like a one keyword for the numbers for simplicity. Looking at this numerology wise, we have a 5, a 3, and which will reduce to an 8. 5 carries that energy of change. 3, creation. 8, abundance is the word that is popping up, but an eternal abundance is what I want to associate with 8 right now. Play. The energy carried here is to change the way that you're creating your eternal abundance. How? Through the usage of play. And what do we have here in the image? I am familiar with this scene. What we're looking at is imagery from Hinduism of Krishna and Arjuna, a warrior. This appears to be an image likely from the excerpt of the Bhagavad Gita, which is like a giant. It is an interaction happening in the middle of battle. I want to pause here for a moment because this is I have a personal significant story that I'd like to share in hopes that it assists anyone that may be feeling uncertain on their own faith path with the divine. I have a background of Christianity and Catholicism. And as I was growing up, Buddhism, Zen Buddhism, Hinduism appealed to my curiosity. So I began to learn. And I got to a point in my life. I had not turned my back on God, but I was in a lower mind state where I just, I could see that I was lost and I was confused. It was a point in my life where I was connecting a lot with other deities, mostly from Greek pantheon, but besides the point. I hit a low point and things were falling apart in my life, and I confided in a soul friend, and what they expressed to me is, this is demonic. You're under the influence of demonic energy. I had a nightmare that night, and I was frustrated. I was frustrated because where I thought I was at that moment was God led. Even though, as I'm expressing here, right, I didn't turn my back on God, but I was going in a different direction. And I can see how the traumas I was carrying and the pains I was feeling, it's like spirituality was falling into an escape ism type of energy at that point. So it was further isolating me. And I was going back to reading the Bible. And the verses I kept finding myself in were speaking of adultery. And I was frustrated. And I asked God, because a download came through before, and me liking to explore other religions, I could understand how, like, these lower named gods, right, are a more relatable than a non-seen spirit. I can relate to this demigod with human-like characteristics with my human life, and their story was impactful. So this left me in a spot of feeling internal, right? Internal correction from God. And I was led to get the Bhagavad Gita, and I read it. And it's like I understood how I lost my way and how the download I had before was still true. How now I'm seeing through a lens of another culture what is being communicated, but I see how I lost sight of the greater vision. So this story specifically, when I was at a point of confusion in my spirit, the Bhagavad Gita and the story of the image that we see here with Arjuna and Krishna held a special place in my heart, because it helped me to gain perspective and understanding where my foundation was built before. All right, that was a lot. Let's jump into the story now of what the author has to share here. Your mind goes on playing infinitely. The whole thing is just like a dream in an empty room. While meditating, one has to look at the mind just frolicking, just like children playing and jumping out of overflowing energy. That's all. Thoughts, jumping, frolicking, just a play. Don't be serious about them. Even if a bad thought is there, don't feel guilty. Or if there's a very great thought, a very good thought, that you want to serve humanity and transform the world, and you want to bring heaven onto earth, don't get too much ego from it. And don't feel that you have become great. This is just a frolicking mind, because it goes down, sometimes it goes up. It is just overflowing energy, taking many shapes and many forms. The mind likes to play. Krishna's challenge to Arjuna. The dimension of play has to be applied to your whole life. Whatsoever you are doing, be there in that activity so totally that the end is irrelevant. The end will come. It has to come. But it is not on your mind. You are playing. You are enjoying. That's what Krishna means during the Mahabharata, the great war that is chronicled in the Gita, when he tells his disciple Arjuna to leave the future in the hands of the divine. The result of your activity is in the hands of the divine. You simply do. This simply doing becomes a play. That's what Arjuna finds difficult to understand, because he says that if it is just play, then why kill? Why fight? But Krishna's whole life is just a play. You cannot find a non-serious man anywhere. His whole life is just a play, a game, a drama. He is enjoying everything, but he is not serious about it. He is enjoying it intensely, but he is not worried about the result. What happens is irrelevant. It is difficult for Arjuna to understand Krishna, because Arjuna calculates. He thinks in terms of the end result. He says in the beginning of the Gita, the whole thing seems to be absurd. On both sides, my friend and my relatives are standing to fight. Whosoever wins, it will be a loss because my family, my relatives, my friends will be destroyed. Even if I win, I will not be worth anything because to whom am I going to show my victory? Victories are meaningful because of friends, relatives, family will enjoy them, but there will be no one. The victory will just be over dead bodies. Who will appreciate it? Who will say, Arjuna, you have done a great deed? So, whether I am victorious or I am defeated, it seems absurd. The whole thing is nonsense. He wants to renounce it. He is deadly serious, and anyone who calculates will be deadly serious. The setting of the Gita is unique. War is the most serious affair. You cannot be playful about it because lives are involved. Millions of lives are involved. You cannot be playful. And Krishna insists that even there you have to be playful. You don't think about what will happen in the end. You just are here and now. You are just a warrior playing. You don't get worried about the result because the result is in the hands of the divine. And it is not even the point if the result is in the hands of the divine or not. The point that it is that it should not be in your hands. Okay? Let go. If you carry it, then your life cannot be meditative. It is not the point that the result is in the hands of the divine or not, just that it's not in your hands. Be present and fully engrossed in what you're doing so that even that is a play, so that that is the meditation. We become, and some take it way too far extreme, to want to play God, to want to manipulate things to the way that they see. And they play the parts that they think will get them there. But the result is not for your making, it is for the divines. Thank you all for allowing space for my sharing of the story. I truly do hope it reminds you to have some fun, some, even in the serious moments, to let go and let God. And until next time. So be sure to like, share, comment, subscribe so you get the notification for the next one. Thank you.